So I obviously adore my therapist. I wish it wouldn't have taken me a horrific spiritual awakening / breakdown to go back to therapy. I really wish I would have been talking to this lady for longer. But everything happens for a reason, and maybe I wouldn't have had her as a therapist if I would have done it any sooner. And it's kind of really hard to talk to anybody when you're in the midst of doing shadow work. Shadow work is literally so important. It's when you go inside your head, when you realize, all right, clearly we're all being lied to. How bad is it? And when you start to realize that there's a lot of inconsistencies in things like your religious beliefs, you really start to question, what the hell is going on? Why are we even here? What the hell is this? We're literally floating in space. It can sincerely not just be us in this universe, and it is so ridiculous to think that we are. This was it in the entire universe, among a bunch of other universes. This is it? That's a fucking shame. And, no, that's not true. That's not how it goes. So anyway, I talked to my therapist all about my new job. I absolutely love it there. It's so laid back, which I'm glad for. I applied at a bunch of different places that were hoity-toitier because it's where a lot of money is. But this place is nice, but it's super laid back. It is so much more relaxing than working for a bunch of people who are clearly going through mental shit too, and they take it out on the crew. But there's pretty much no bigger compliment to me than when people compliment my energy. That is such a huge compliment. I had customers literally pulling me over going, this place just feels different. Like, you are such a breath of fresh air, and your energy is like really powerful. Like, you very much so stand out. And I'm like, thanks. Like, I've been getting into spirituality, and I've really been working on myself, and really been working on my energy sensitivity. And really cool thing happens when you realize you're just a ball of energy in a body, and everything is energy. You can literally feel bad energy in a room and make a conscientious effort to absorb it and transmute it. It's amazing. People think that these people out here talking about superpowers is bullshit. Telekinesis, clairvoyance, clairsentience, clear everything. These things are all real. Telepathy is very, very real. Very real. I've experienced that with my cat. That was fucking crazy. With my cat. And, with people. And, I've learned to not mention things too soon to people when I catch much things coming off of them because it creeps people out. And these remote viewers, look them up. The government knows they're real. I mean, when you activate your junk DNA, and when you get your heart chakra open, this is a game of energy and chakras. That guy's going too fast. But anywho, it is a freaking game. And when you do shadow work, you just go into your mind and you start to realize, oh shit, this is actually a really big place. Like, it feels like there's a lot of shit going on around me, and I'm like very alert to it. You can literally feel your mind expanding when you start to break the programming that everybody's under. If you ever watched those Black Lives Matter riots and thought, well, besides George Soros funding that shit, the hell is making people do that? Energy. Bad energy coding. People have no clue what's going on with this spiritual battle. It's a game of energy. And they are hitting susceptible people with terrible energy. Let alone the people who are walking around here with busted off pieces of their souls, soul loss, and they have had dark entities leech onto them. Now, it is literally like common knowledge among this spiritual community. It's like a lot of people have different opinions, but a lot of people have like certain baseline knowledge. And this Peter Michael video, I'm gonna pull it up, I'm gonna record it. He perfectly explains soul loss and how it's like a shark bite. It's literally like you got busted pieces of you just flying off everywhere. And you need to retrieve them. It's soul retrieval. But when you go through traumatic experiences, you experience soul loss. And these dark entities will leech onto you. And then when you're at a crowded bar, or when you're at Walmart, or a welfare office, energy transfers, these things will literally jump like lice onto other people, and it spreads. It's literally a game of parasitic entities like archons. It's a game of they're gonna release some big virus into the world so that you don't realize they're virally attacking people on other planes of existence, like in our astral bodies, like Astro World. What Travis Scott did was he scared the shit out of so many people. There were portals open everywhere. And these people who survived that terrible, terrible soul harvesting had dark entities leech onto them. And then their poor traumatized asses went back out into the world with judgments. This is what they're doing. And until people start to understand that the spiritual battle is one of the only things in this world that's actually real and undebatable, and choose to understand how it works, then you're going to be stuck in a low frequency consciousness. It's the victim mentality. My spiritual awakening has been confusing, embarrassing, traumatizing, very upsetting, very painful. But I don't feel like a victim. I feel like, well, that sucked. And what am I gonna do? I'm definitely going to talk about it, because there are people everywhere falling to this shit. There are people everywhere on the front lines of mental health and not. People who have not even gone to seek treatment because they understand that they're going to be treated like a lab rat and mishandled, offing themselves. And it is so sad to me. So sad. And the first 2 months of shit with me started in August, September, and October were fucking horrible. I didn't even start really looking around and trying to figure out what exactly happened to me until like November. So I think 3 months in, I figured out a lot of shit. But there is so much information. People are fighting with people who were speaking about Christ consciousness like it's bullshit. It's a state of mind. The people who are spiritually awake at a Christ conscious level, it is totally different. Unless you're there, you're stuck in a low frequency, small-minded, probably religious mentality. And I feel very bad for how pissed off I am at these churches. It's not like your hometown churches know. It's not like the small-time doctors know. It's the big ones. The ones that are running this shit. And, people are just following it. And I've never understood, especially since I had sons, I never understood why anybody would support the Catholic Church. I'm sorry, but, they're a bunch of pedophiles and gay men who are telling everybody who's gay that they're a bunch of sinners, but they're molesting children. Joe Rogan has a great episode, many podcasts about how fucked up it is that they will literally move priests from church to try to keep them working and keep them doing what they're doing and covering it up. And it's just like, why would they do that? Because they're corrupt. It is sickening. It's literally the most sickening shit. And I just don't understand. I don't understand how anybody supports them. And it's like, the only people that can take the money away from the Catholics are Catholics who give them money. The only people that can take the power away from anybody are the ones who are supporting them. It's called giving consent. For as long as people keep turning blind eyes at all of the shit that's going on, and they don't stand up and go, hey, we're not fucking playing this shit no more. We're tired of being taxed to death. You guys better fix this shit. I mean, literally. Until people can comprehend how bad this situation truly is and understand that when you look around and you just think, oh, it's the devil. It's the devil. It is bad guys working for Satan. It's bad guys working for negative extraterrestrials. That's all there is out there. Millions of races of extraterrestrials. And the good ones, there are cosmic laws. There are universal laws. And this place is a big melting pot. There are literally starseeds everywhere playing people right now. And the shit that I had visions of, I mean, it was literally the worst. It was so terrifying. You don't know if you're seeing shit from the past, present, the future. They're all happening simultaneously because time is an illusion. All of these things are illusions. And, yeah, a couple months ago, I made videos. I was fucking terrified. I was literally like, you know, what the hell would you do if these things attacked? Because from what I saw the scariest shit. I saw wars. I saw things from space, like big space wars. I remember a planet blowing up. I remember a planet being invaded. These are things that people wake up and they remember. Or they don't wake up and it's gnawing at their subconscious mind. And it's wild. It's wild shit. But then it's like all this time, there's never been an alien invasion. So why would there be one now? Project Bluebeam. I think that's what I saw. Look what they're doing with holographics. They're doing Michael Jackson concerts, Whitney Houston concerts. I saw some friggin' arena where they had a bunch of whales flying around and sea animals, and they look real. Better watch out for Project Bluebeam, because they're probably going to fake an invasion to try to push this one world order, new world order, whatever the hell they want to call it. And super wild. I was super scared. From now until 2029, I was so afraid of 2029. And then you look at all this shit and it's like, yeah, look at Bill Gates. Look what these people are doing. Clearly, they are very vocal about this population control and microchipping people. Got these people in Sweden throwing parties, lining up to get microchipped. You fucking kidding me? And I guess it started in the States. These people are little robots, literally NPCs, doing exactly what the government wants. It's terrible. I cannot believe anybody would get microchipped. I can't believe anybody get jabbed. I can't freaking believe it. I can't. It's fear. These people are literally just feeding off of our energy while we stay afraid. And the disease of fear is called OCD. Everybody who has intrusive rumination and intrusive thoughts, and they're scared of this and they're scared of that, that's OCD. That's anxiety. Causes depression, causes everything. And as long as you keep looking at Howie Mandel and his hand washing, you're not ever going to understand the full scope of OCD. It is serious. And it can get very bad. They've charged me up with mental diagnoses. This bipolar with psychotic features. I have OCD. I definitely do. I got the OCD diagnosis right after I got out of the mental hospital. They're like, this is OCD, but I can't kick the bipolar diagnosis, and it's OCD. Look at NF's videos. People look at NF's videos and they go, is he schizophrenic? No, it's fucking OCD. And they don't want people to understand that they have OCD, because when you start looking under the umbrellas of OCD and you come across the scrupulosity, religious type OCD, when you put that up side by side next to schizo anything, bipolar anything, all of these other freaking diseases, it looks the same. It's terrifying. It's all part of spiritually waking up, or trying to, and then getting trapped, having your pineal gland shut off, being cut off from your spirit with all of these vicious medications. And I'm definitely not anti-medication. I just fucking asked for some before. Unfortunately, it kills people, and it was making me not feel good, and it was making me not sleep more. So, definitely not against seeking mental help, but this shit's a wreck. Like, you're gonna need therapy. If you don't need therapy already, stuck in this trauma matrix, you're gonna need therapy if you start doing shadow work, especially if you have nobody around you that's gonna support you, because it is the scariest experience. It is so scary plugging into the matrix instead of living in it. And all of these people who are talking about this shit, it is because they've broken the programming, and there's just no going back. There's no unseeing what you've seen. There's no real words for it besides, oh, yes, this is a freaking simulation, like a consciousness simulation. Our consciousness is like the only freaking thing that's real here in the spiritual battle. Light versus darkness. It's literally all it is. There is so much information out there. Quantum mechanics. There's physicists out there who are saying the fabric of reality is literally written just like a computer code. It's all a bunch of zeros and ones. Because this is a huge projection world. We are all just being projected down here from different dimensions from our oversoul. If you have no clue what your oversoul is, and you want to keep calling people like me and people like everybody else like me, millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of people, crazy, and saying that they're in a cult because they're talking about the gods. They're not talking about one god. They're talking about the gods. The same gods from these ancient civilizations. Calling them crazy. Calling them mentally disturbed. Calling them culty. How? No. How? How is that okay? Stop calling me. Why is it a cult to not give any support, not go to some spiritual church meetings every Sunday and pray to people outside or pray to entities outside of ourselves? It's an understanding, a literal understanding that, oh yeah, the Illuminati, oh yeah, everything that these people are saying about draconians and shit is actually true. Wow. That's wild. But then it totally makes sense that they would be controlling the narrative and that they would have had a hand in the Bible. And that's kind of why everybody's religious backgrounds kind of have points, because they look like hodgepodge recreations of much older ancient texts, and all you have to do is look. All you have to do is look at this shit about the Sumerian tablets and the Emerald tablets, just to start. But there are so many ancient pieces of information out there, and it sucks. It really sucks. When I was going through this, I was with somebody who just kind of sit around and play video games all day, and tried really hard to keep this quiet. And once it got to the point where I had to say something, I'm just like, I'm just going through stuff with God. Like, I'm just going through, like, my faith. Like, there's just stuff going on with me, like spiritual stuff. And this guy started screaming at me. He would scream in my face to quit preaching at him. It's just like, what? As soon as you say anything about God or spirituality in front of somebody who's negative, dark entity type, it's like it burns their ears. And when you say things about spirituality to religious people, it burns their ears, because they're not programmed at all. Nobody is programmed to really want to go down spiritual routes. It is against their agenda to spiritually wake up. I hate when people call it woke. This shit is not woke to me. It's awake. And, so, really glad I went back to therapy. And, I highly encourage anybody that hears this who has no fucking clue what's going on. I think this sounds crazy. Maybe you should get a therapist too, because those are the deepest, darkest rabbit holes in your mind and of spirituality, is that we are all God's source here, living temporary human experiences, and we're supposed to remember that we are sovereign beings, and they're holding us down because God's here fractalized and broken up between all of us. And if we have unity consciousness, and if we unite and remember this, we're powerful. We're so powerful. I love when the alchemist said, if everybody would stop being assholes, we could probably all be levitating like the freaking yogis. There are Tibetan yogis over there levitating. There are people who are doing wild, supernatural shit because they've got their minds under control. It's the coolest shit ever. It's literally super cool to look at. The things I've had dreams about, telling you what, the one time I had a dream, right after I started waking up a couple years ago, after I went through the first phase of ascension, I had this creepy, vivid dream that I was in a Walmart. And then I wasn't. I was like a ghost. And I backed up out, went through a wall, started going out into like normal air outside. And I'm looking at this Walmart. And then I just went straight down underground. And I was looking, and there was a huge, like, military bunker. It was like a huge military base underneath this Walmart. And then I come back up, and I panned out, and when I came back up out of the ground, there were, like, armed guards surrounding this Walmart. And I'm going, I think I told my dad about this. I'm like, it was, like, literally such a disturbing dream. Like, it was super creepy. Like, I don't know why I had that dream. Like, it was super, super weird. It took me until 2 months ago to come across a video of all of these abandoned Walmarts having bunkers under them. And they're literally being guarded. Unreal. Bunch of freaking FEMA camps and shit. I can't even believe it. The shit that is underneath these abandoned ass Walmarts is so scary. The shit that I've had dreams about that is underground and in the oceans wild. Wild. And there's proof of it everywhere. If you've ever had a wild dream, you've ever had a crazy feeling, why don't you look it up? There's probably proof of it everywhere. And people are just sitting here thinking they're fucking crazy. No, that shit looks very, very real. It looks like they're really setting us up for some shit. And they're taking our tax dollars and they're keeping us all broke. And they're doing very nefarious, very bad things. And the proof is everywhere. Unreal.